And we're live, I think.
Are we?
Yes, actually.
First stream.
First, first stream, and let's be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah. It's live.
I wish freaking YouTube would have like made it so you could still stream with Hangouts, because this new set. I'd be lying if I said that's the thing stopping me from streaming, because I got a community guideline strike, so
Yeah.
I can't stream anyway. I almost always have one too. That's because I'm too fucking edgy for YouTube.
Also, speaking of Google, I am still cursed with my 10-year-old icon.
All right, yeah. So everybody
That's
everybody pay attention to Hoplu's 10-year-old icon.
Roblox.com.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Is that actually you, or is that like a picture you found off Google Images?
No, that is actually me from 10 years ago.
Where did you take that picture? Like, in what circumstance?
That's an
would you
elevator,
be-
actually.
What?
Oh,
I can
that's
see
a
it's an
Halloween
elevator,
costume.
but are you
Halloween
at like
costume,
are
that's
you
what
at
it
like a
was.
are you at like a convention or something?
No, that's
Like
that's
hospital?
what I went. Hold on, that's what I went as for Halloween that year.
That was my first guest, actually.
Where are
Yeah.
you trick or treating at? A hospital?
You might have been.
Where would you be trick or treating at that has elevators?
Actually, I used to live in an apartment on the beach, like at Virginia Beach.
Course. I should have been my first guess, but I mean, if you're dressed like that, I don't know.
Yeah, well, this is my punishment for not bothering to change my damn icon sooner.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, post links to the stream
Oh shit! Yeah,
if you haven't already.
Yeah, send me a DM on Discord. I'll start shilling it.
I can't.
I should be
Oh,
able to get it
okay.
on Filthies. Yep, here it is.
Yeah, just post it on our servers. Also, feel free to @ everyone. I think SO, can you @ everyone?
I'll send it to you. SO.
Yeah, send it to me. And I will definitely start giving out the link.
Nuke in 3, 2, 1. No, guess not.
Alright, so, anyway, this is a new series we're starting called Kool Kapitalist Kidz. Trying to be basically the edgiest fucking podcast on YouTube. And, this is like, not necessarily blood sports, but we're just talking about news and shooting the shit and whatever the hell we feel like talking about that we would never make a video on, but stuff that people want to see us talk about nonetheless. That happens a lot. So,
Oh yeah.
here we are.
There's so much stuff that just like either don't think I can make enough time to devote the research to it, or I just don't care enough. But it's still kind of important, so we gotta talk about it anyway. We'll be exactly as edgy as YouTube will allow us to be, but unfortunately we can't go a bit further thanks to our corporate overlords at Alphabet. Yay!
Yeah, okay, goof troop.
Not only are they prohibiting us from expressing our true selves, but they are cursing me with my icon.
Indeed.
I'm still mad about that for the entire stream.
And they took my job.
They took all our gerbs. Well, they shut down your YouTube channel once.
Oh yeah, they shut down my first YouTube channel, but that's actually something that happened to me recently. I got fucking laid off because of Trump's tariffs. So
Yeah.
I can say that, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah. So, Black Spruce, I'm looking at the chat, and Black Spruce wants me to do the Batman growl. Where are the drugs? Tell me where the drugs are. Where's Harvey Dent?
drugs? Tell me where the drugs are.
They're everywhere.
Don't
least
swear
in
to
my house.
God. Swear to me.
Here.
Batman wouldn't even make it like past the front door in my house. He'd fucking kick in my front door.
And then he gets shot.
Yeah, and then I'd come out of my room and shoot him. My room is like a little mini black market paradise in my house.
That's not something you should stay on stream. I'm just saying.
They can't prove it either way.
Well, they don't know where you are yet.
Yeah.
So it's basically about as valid as me saying that I have a secret vor ring on Mars.
All right. So
What's the first topic?
yeah, the first topic is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's all I gotta say is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the first fucking topic.
Basically that crazy.
And
For
you know-
once, there was a Democratic Socialist that's even more
Well,
mushroom
no,
than Bernie Sanders.
She's not. She's herself is not the first topic. She's the first topic because she won the nomination, and yet she thinks that she won the election because she won the nomination.
Congratulations!
Oh my god! Please, let's please make this person a congressperson. Like, let's put them in there. Like, if they win, this is a good thing, and if they lose, this is a good thing. Let's just
Raphael.
let's make sure this person constantly has a platform to supply us with hot takes forever.
Raphael Mercurio says Cortez better off in a cheap porn.
Yeah, this meth-eyed, bubble-headed idiot. Let's make sure that they're never out of the spotlight again.
I'm just gonna say.
Although that'd be some pretty fucking cheap porn.
I'm just gonna say, crazy eyes are kind of a turnoff for me. Like,
What?
Yeah.
Well, even the way she does them.
No, Dankoda, we're not stoned.
She looks like fucking. They look like they're about to fall out of their sockets. Like,
I've actually seen that look before.
she actually looks like she's on fucking meth. Like, I'm not even joking.
Well, here's the thing. I've actually seen that look before. Back when I was a constitutionalist in college, and there was a socialist group, I was like debating the constitutionality of welfare, and there was this one girl who pointed to the preamble of the Constitution about how it's like it says general welfare in the preamble, therefore the welfare state is completely constitutional.
Oh.
That's not what that term means. And then their eyes literally popped out of their fucking sockets.
Her eyes popped out. It was weird. I had nothing to say to that because I was just like, but besides the fact that the preamble has no legitimate basis in constitutional law whatsoever and never has.
But anyway, I love how Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like living proof that the political process is not only illegitimate, but it just doesn't work.
It's fucked. It's always been fucked, and it's fucked by design.
It's just it's a simple logical conclusion that the worst of society is always going to be drawn to where they can do the most damage.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody says like everybody fuck, I can't, god damn it. They just act like people should take voting so seriously, and god damn, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, I mean, South Park said it best. You're choosing between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. Why is everybody so excited?
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends on the douche.
I mean, even if you're gonna take voting at face value, all voting is like we have statistical proof that proves that voting doesn't work. The disparity between the laws that are actually made into legislation and the people who want them, like the majority, they are the same. They're the same ratio. So they're irrelevant. The likelihood of a law getting passed is irrelevant to whether or not people actually like it. So
there's also the
it literally is pretty much just a giant douche and a turd sandwich. But people don't know that. It's one of those things people say a lot, and I feel like people dismiss it because it's very rarely explained. But yeah, you get people like Cortes because of that shit.
the way
Also, Dice, this was a Halloween costume, just in case you missed it.
Yeah, that didn't get explained on that didn't get explained earlier. But anyways,
No, I think it did.
it did.
Yeah,
I don't
were
think we
you
were
streaming
streaming yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I'm
So-
pretty sure we were streaming.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were.
I said it looked like you were in a hospital.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I don't. Oh, it's fine. It's explained now. All right, Black Spruce says.
Anyway, that's
Anyways.
my main difficulty with Cortes because she advocates for everything that I absolutely fucking despise, and everything about her politics is just the worst. She had welfare statism, specifically for the expressed intention of turning people into dope fiends for the state. I mean, I can't believe she said that. Like, I actually don't believe. Like, why would she say that? She's actually that much of an idiot that she said that on stream. I can't believe it on live.
I don't know if she's being dumb. She's just being honest. But what's interesting?
Yeah. Well, she's too dumb to be that deceptive. She actually thinks that was a good thing to say. Somebody said, "Yeah, we got to get people." That's the progressive strategy. Is we got to get people dependent on welfare so that they can never actually succeed and have to be dependent on the state forever, and that effectively turns inner cities into vote farms. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, that's something that people want. They want that."
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's if I recall correctly, in some European countries, I think in Germany, they're talking about drugging their population to make them more compliant.
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
Jesus.
What specifically were they referring to? Like, were they talking about putting some in vaccines, or am I thinking about a different situation?
You're probably thinking about a different situation, and I recall like it was just a general term, like just it's an ingredient that needs to be put into food or something very specific or something.
Good lord! Oh
yeah,
man.
They just want to.
You know, I heard that the U.S. government once fucked with France by putting LSD in their sometimes bread.
That's actually true, but the thing is Germany's outright. You know, they're talking about it in a public debate in politics. Yeah, let's put drugs in our food to make people more obedient so that they don't disagree with the government. I mean,
That's
man,
just horrible.
You can tell that there's a strong libertarian undercurrent that's just getting really under their skin right now. The politicians.
Oh, I sure hope so.
People like to scream about how apparently Trump and is apparently fucking destroying our democracy, but then here's Germany talking about drugging people to make them more obedient. Isn't that amazing?
I care about democracy bigly.
Now I have an interesting.
We need to bomb the shit out of Syria and take their oil. But Germany, you're okay. You keep drugging your citizens over there and being a state sponsor of ISIS. I mean Antifa. Well, they're basically the same thing, but whatever.
Yeah, for those who don't know, through the I believe it's the Alejandro something Institute, which funds a publication called Watchtower. Watchtower funds Antifa. So indirectly, the German government is funding Antifa in their own country. So Germany is literally, according to the U.S. State Department, by the way, they're a state sponsor of terrorism.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's something that happened.
But yeah, let's all give Ocasio as big of a platform as we can. That's my trouble with Cortes, is she advocates for all this stuff that I just despise, but she's such an idiot that she actually helps our politics. So it's like, do I want to make videos ripping on her, or do I want to just say nothing and hope that people give her support so that she actually gets a position in Congress, and we get like the daily equivalent of that Hank Johnson guy saying that we shouldn't put tanks in Guam because Guam would tip over, which is something that he actually said. We'd get the equivalent. We'd get the equivalent of that on like a daily basis with her in Congress. And I just like I hear that and I'm like, I want that. I actually want that really badly.
All right, here's something on the drugs I mentioned earlier. Germany experimenting with this is on August 15th, 2017. Germany experimenting with mind-altering love drugs to make people more accepting of migrants. And in case you're wondering, the drug in question is Oxytocin. I can't pronounce words. Given the right circumstances, Oxytocin may help promote the acceptance and integration of migrants into Western culture. Yeah, so let's just be very clear. When you hear Ms. Cortes talking about using welfare to drug people, this is what they're talking about. Basically, MK Ultra, except it will be.
No, she didn't say that they're using welfare to drug people. My point is that they're making people dependent on the state, sort of like a dope fiend is dependent on their dealer.
That's like how you make dictatorships, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it pretty much is. That's why it's such a disgusting tactic for that reason. Not only that, but because in order to do this, they're stealing from people. And by doing so, they're making them dependent on the welfare programs, these subpar programs, which they don't even give them the full value of what they actually paid in back out. It's just so disgusting. And they do that specifically so that they could take more and more and more. Anyway,
I have an alternate take on Ms. Cortes. It's kind of an observation I had. Like, how young is she, by the way? Like 30s?
She's 28.
Oh,
28, yeah.
Yeah, she's 28. Like, that's really young. Now take a look at the rest of the Democratic Socialists and the closet Socialists in the Democratic Party in Congress. They're basically
boomers.
Boomer. Maybe you get a silent generation in there, maybe, but they're all like, there's nobody in there that's under 65.
I think she might be a closet ANCAP. She's a closet ANCAP who infiltrated the Democratic Socialists of America to make them look bad.
Oh
my God!
Oh,
yeah.
If this is true, then she is the best troll ever.
Actually, you know what? Considering her behavior, debates, and the utter stupidity of statements she's said, like how apparently having multiple jobs affects employment in any way. Maybe that theory holds some water. Actually, maybe it does.
Well, actually, I think that the theory that the people holding multiple jobs affects job numbers kind of makes sense, in the sense that it artificially inflates the number of jobs that people are holding in the market.
I seriously hope that's true, though, that she's just an ANCAP trolling.
Honestly, I'm hoping not.
Yeah.
Because what I really want are people who are just so freaking idiotic that they, ironically, make the best case for anarcho-capitalism possible. They're useful. They're in a way that they're like the opposite of useful. They're the opposite of useful idiots, but they kind of are still.
Control kind of like control opposition.
Kind of.
Well, second topic is earlier this week, I think it was, there was a couple that they were taking a bicycle ride around the world, and they were doing this specifically because they were trying to prove that there was no such thing as evil. And they were in northern Afghanistan. Well, they were in Tajikistan, but that's on the northern border of Afghanistan. And they got run off the road by ISIS and killed.
Yeah, their rib cage got fucked with knives.
I didn't actually see the video. Like, did their
I
rib
didn't
cage get
either. I
split
don't
open?
intend to.
I have
But-
no interest. I have no interest in watching snuff at
Yeah.
Not. I don't really either. But I mean, for the sake of discussing the topic, I was just asking if you'd seen it.
all. Yeah. So yeah.
but
this,
anyway,
I mean, it's
This is so fucking autistic. These silent moments after shit like that. Oh my god.
I mean, it's kind of appropriate because I mean,
It-
like, what do you say to that? I mean,
What
really,
do
like,
you
laugh at-
say?
I mean, do you
to
laugh
that?
at someone who like died in presumably a horrible and excruciating way?
Or do you laugh
No.
at the dumb reason why?
Yeah, you laugh
That's
at the
the
dumb
dichotomy.
reason why, which is fucking the thought that there's no such thing as evil people in the world.
And then they're killed by evil people.
Yeah, that's moral relativism for you right there.
It's not that hard to see that people do evil things. Like, you can even... Like, you can look up examples of people doing evil things. Not just...
Hey,
you know,
Atomic
s-
Endcap
s-
showed up.
Atomic's here. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, a lot of people are using
Hey,
that
Atomic.
example to try and say, "Oh, well, this is why we need a strong military. This is why we need a government. This is no.
Yeah, Ben.
No.
Yeah, you linked the
That's,
video.
that only perpetuates evil.
Yeah, you
Giving
linked the
an
video of,
organization which is completely unaccountable
Just
thousands
ignore
of
how
troops.
much the United
um,
States and neocons have enabled ISIS throughout the years. Let's
No,
just
they didn't
ignore that.
They didn't just enable
they didn't.
ISIS. They created ISIS. They funded ISIS.
They straight up gave ISIS like a couple $1 billion and all the weapons that they have.
Yeah.
And even then, it's just like the amount of stuff that just simply has been enabled. I don't think could be calculated. But I mean, just
And then...
I've talked to people. I've talked to these people. I don't know if it's really moral relativism or simple naivete. I once knew someone who earnestly believed that ISIS didn't exist. Yeah, like they thought that it was just like some. They thought it was just like some false flag by I don't know who, and that this is all just
That's-
like some.
That's a new one. But anyway, hey, Atomic Ancap, we were just like in the middle. We were in the middle of talking about that news story where those cyclists in northern Afghanistan or wherever the fuckistan, because all those countries are basically the same.
They're more than the same.
Let's just call it fuckistan or who gives a shit stan, because they're all the same basically.
Let's just call it Nukiristan.
Sharia law is Stan.
And Cambodia.
Multiple child wives is stan.
There you go.
Child wives for sale is Stan.
Get killed Hiristan.
Terrorist in training is Stan.
Basically hell.
Hell
Yeah.
is Stan.
Yeah, there's the ISIS occupied cities in Syria. Like they put severed heads all over their street corners. that is some
That's
level of terrible.
disgusting.
Literal crucifixions.
You don't want to be
Kinda.
here, Stan.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You don't want to be here with Stan. Yeah, that's a good name.
But yeah, conservatives have been talking about that, and they're saying, "Oh, well, this is why military presence is important. This is why rule of law is important." No, this actually,
That's not fucked up.
yeah, this actually fucking refutes the idea of a rule of law, because if you had, because I mean, what do you think ISIS is?
They have
You know,
they're a government.
they're a rebel group, but they're a government. What do they do when they take over an area? They
They're
establish
called
a
the
mini
Islamic
Islamic
State
caliphate.
for a reason. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they establish a little mini Islamic caliphate, which works on
Yep.
the same basic principles of any other government. You got yourself a social contract. I mean, the principles are different, but it's the same basic idea.
I think the only problem with
Oh,
the only problem that conservatives really have with ISIS is that it's not their rule of law.
Yeah, I seriously, if you're a statist, who agrees with that, I want you to tell me right now, what actual objections do you have to the Islamic State? Like, what? Because they operate on the same principle of the social contract. That's how they try and legitimize themselves. They establish a monopoly on arbitration in their society. They coerce people into following their rule of law. So what exactly do you disagree with? That they're not following your rule of law? That their rule of law is different?
Got culture.
Yeah, see, if you don't believe in a state, you can actually distance yourself from ISIS because you actually have a solid deontological basis for your consistent principles and can say, yeah, I actually don't believe that something that's immoral can become moral simply because a group of elite politicians say so. But if you're a statist, then you don't really have any justification for saying that you disagree with ISIS other than I don't like their rule of law, but I like the same basic principles that govern it.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny how often this I see this recurring, particularly among socialists, whose really only problem with racism and sexism is the fact that they're on the wrong side of it.
I mean, what were you going to say, Atomic ANCAP? Because you were going to say something.
I was going to say, well, something in relation to the idea that we need to expand military power and presence. Oh, well, that's my family in the background.
We've been doing Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Basically, you'll even see this. In fact, I have a father who was my father was a cop. You'll see, what they have to sign. It'll explicitly tell you that the president is the commander-in-chief, and you must, follow actions said by him. So, following the line of consistency that the government is unaccountable, and so therefore, so will its monopoly on defense. Basically, that just means that you'll have more people to enforce the will of the state if you just, have more people involved in the military. So it's a self-defeating principle either way, especially for conservatives who are supposed to be anti-government. So they're not.
Small government, except for when I want to destroy another country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No government except for when I want to destroy another country, stop people from smoking plants that I don't like. They're not. A lot of them support welfare policies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being a conservative. Those were dark times.
Same with me. You're not alone.
I
still have a MAGA hat.
If I could talk to my conservative self from 2 years ago, I think my conservative self mind would be significantly blown.
I don't think I would be able to even get to myself.
I fortunately was never cursed with being conservative, let alone a neocon. I was always sort of that guns and weed libertarian before now.
Well, I mean, that's a start. I mean, it took me a while to get to weed.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, in fact, I still have a MAGA hat. I'm actually gonna go get it, take a picture of it. Oh, no.
Also, I'm just gonna say, if your society is
I have one of the old ones, the red ones. You know those?
Nice.
They're just the red ones that say "Make America Great Again."
If your society is so fragile that it's threatened by people setting a plant on fire, I'm just gonna say your society probably sucks.
I want to make a parody of a "Make America Great Again" hat. Well, I don't want to make one and make it popular. I just want to see that one exists, and I want to make slavery black again.
Well, I mean, it already is.
I just want to see that one of those exists.
Go to Libya.
Well, that already exists. It's in Africa right now.
I know.
They're way ahead of you.
God bless the slaves down in Africa.
Okay, it's official. We need to get Hot Blue to sing stuff.
Hey, bitch, I plan to. I went to get that shit trained. I legitimately do plan to do songs on my channel. Don't worry.
Make it a record label, and I'll get you to sing my intro.
Woo!
Yes.
You have an intro?
Yes. You should know what it is by now.
No, but like the serious one is make anarchism individualist again. That'd be a good one. But anyway, on to the next topics. I think we sort of ran that one into the ground. What do you
Mundane Matt.
Yeah, fucking you can't stream this week without talking about that. So what do you guys think about the whole Mundane Matt situation? For those of you who don't know,
irony and the hypocrisy.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, oh fuck it, everybody knows at this point.
Just for the sake of viewers who might not know, I don't know why.
Apparently, Black Spruce doesn't know.
Basically, okay, so basically, Mundane Matt went on a stream called the Kill Stream with Keemstar. Keemstar joined like later in the stream, but it was with Ralph Retort, Mr. Medicer, somebody else was there. I don't the Quartering. That's who I was thinking of, the Quartering. And he sat there for like an hour and a half lying straight to their face, and it was just the funniest stuff. I was out with my kids collecting boulders because I'm Minecraft Steve.
What?
Huh?
Excuse me? That's something a 5-year-old does when they discover Minecraft for the first time. Yeah, you know how you go outside and you say, oh, God damn it.
That's one of the things that Mundane Matt actually said is, I wasn't at home, I was out with my kid picking up boulders.
Yeah, that's...
Watch the stream, he actually says that, like, I don't know how far in, it's like around, it's about halfway until he actually spills the beans, but yeah, he was sitting there lying the entire time, telling these people just straight to their face, yeah, I didn't flag anybody, no, that wasn't me, I'm always gone. But it's just, you could tell that he was, because these streams would get taken down really quickly, and just, yeah, they'd get taken down really quickly, and he'd always be there to defend himself. I mean, these aren't new observations, but unfortunately, yeah, it's been sort of done to death at this point. But no, later on in the stream, I don't know if it was the Quartering or Ralph Retort, because they sort of sound similar. I think it was the Quartering. But yeah, somebody told him that you can see your flagging history goes dead silent for like 20 minutes. Like, Mundane Matt doesn't say a word for like 20 minutes. And then, because he's probably deleting his history, like, and then he shows the screen after saying, you guys are gonna get real pissed at me, and then he's like, just show the screen, and then he shows the screen, and he's flagged like 1,000 videos, and all of them, they're like Dame Pesos, Andy Worski, all these channels which he was accused of flagging, and that talked shit about him, but that he swears up and down he didn't. And it's just, he's like, I can do better, I'm just in a bad headspace.
Shut the fuck up, you should have known that was a bad idea from the start.
Yeah, I'm just saying, what are you gonna say, Atomic?
Oh, what I'm about to put in chat describes Mundane Matt right now.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking like I don't know about you, but going after someone, just like flagging videos, closing comments, that stuff never occurs to me. It never occurs to me to do that.
Like, what the fuck? That's the thing. It is, they get flagged down pretty shortly after they get uploaded. A lot of these videos did. So it was like, he had like Google notifications out for his name to see people posting stuff about his name anywhere.
And it's an important thing to know that his channel got popular because what's her face flagged one of his videos.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for the community to be striking back against him, because apparently there's still videos.
God.
Like even after this came out, there are still videos about Mundane Matt which are being flagged down. So he's still doing it.
He's still doing it, even after he apologized.
Yeah, so we need to get.
Oh my God! What a
Political YouTubers need to get rid of this fucking disgusting piece of shit, because all he's doing, it's like we're living under him and we can't say anything about him, or else I hate that. I hate that feeling like I have to walk on eggshells around somebody. There's a good chance if you put Mundane Matt in the title of this stream's gonna get flagged down. Watch.
Mundane Matt is a poo-poo head. Okay, this stream just got flagged. Ooh.
I mean,
I think I was-
Mundane Matt has 6 diseases, all starting with the letter H.
Mundane Matt is actually Boogie 2988 from the future after a diet program.
Oh my God!
Hey, you know the only diet program that works.
Socialism?
Yes.
But just
Any of
the
you seen
fucking
that meme
the
of that?
tism storm that came after that. You know what he does? You know what he does after this backlash? He sits silent. Like, he doesn't just sit silent. He's making videos pretending that nothing happened, and that he makes a blog. He makes a blog on Tumblr about it.
Oh no!
That's
Yeah, where no one
Literally-
will find you.
Could you literally
Garbage,
put
though.
up
Why does anyone still use that site?
I just think
Where
it's
the
funny because
degenerates
that's like exactly what you'd expect some feminist to be doing. He
It is.
He is
It
Zoe
is.
Quinn.
He's
Exactly what some
what's that one?
feminist would be doing.
What's that thing's name? It's like Julie Ulysses or something.
what?
One that punched Lauren Southern. I call it an it because that's what it is.
Are you talking to the? Are you talking about the Trigglypuff?
No, you know Smugly Puff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, the guy who was I'm just gonna. Who was right next to her and like attacked Lauren Southern.
The dude with the curly hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I don't know what it is about people with freaking curly hair, but they piss me off. They always rub me the wrong way.
I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it. It's
Yeah, they
terrible.
rub
It's
me the wrong
ugly.
way.
It makes
just-
my eyes bleed. It makes my puppy cry.
You know what makes
Yeah.
my eyes bleed?
And they just make me want to freaking, like, I can't be around them. I freaking absolutely, they're just, it's repulsive. Like, everything else about them can be fine. If they have curly hair, it's like, well, fuck you. Not interested in that.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's also what puts me off these days?
My
a
current
good
icon.
70, yes, but a good 70% of the girls at my school, they come in with those cat ear hats.
Oh god.
Like that's when I immediately think, okay, I want nothing to do with you.
Are you talking about the pussy hats?
No, just like cat ear hats.
Okay.
Those,
Same thing,
no,
but-
those ski hats that like
If you want
they
to
have
be
like
a
cat
no,
ears
they're
attached
like-
go
to them.
away and be a
Think of them as like headband things,
Oh, I see.
but they just have cat ears on them. They're
Yeah, I'm sure that middle school and high schools are just the worst places ever. You got people going around wearing those weeb hats. You got people going around saying, "I'm a fan of Esoteric Entity on YouTube." You got people
not
going
even
around just.
I don't mention channels. I mention my own channel because publicity, but
No, by all means, go ahead.
yeah. I don't remember what I was gonna say, so I guess you just keep going. Oh yeah, you're right. Middle school is really repulsive.
Yeah, it's been a long time since middle
stuck
school.
It stuck to when I was there, and that was like 2008, 2009, that time. So
Yeah, 8th grade is like just the worst socially, but the easiest like education wise.
Undoubtedly.
anyway,
Although I think that mine was 9th grade.
Mundane Matt is a feminazi.
It's confirmed. Confirmed. This is
Mundane
established.
He's a soy-fueled motherfucker.
Watch, this is gonna get reported. Mundane Matt, Mundane Matt, Mundane Matt.
Transitioning to become a new gender. The Matt sexual. Matt sexuals are characterized by their sexual attraction to flagging other people's content down and destroying their livelihoods.
Did you know if
And
your name is
turning up
Matt,
that
you have a
pesky ad
70%
block.
chance of being gay?
Now turn off that pesky ad block.
Turn off that pesky ad block.
You know, if you have the name Matt, you are substantially more likely to be gay.
If you have
And
the name,
not the sexuality, the meme.
if you have the name Matt, you're substantially more likely to both be an extremely overweight person and have a foot fetish.
Did you know that? Did you know that people who use skulls in their logos, particularly the YouTube channels, typically have a IQ 10 points lower than
Yeah, than the average. No, they have a IQ 10 points lower than what race realists seem.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, nightmare fuel. Definitely.
Definitely.
They got a nightmare fuel IQ. I'm not sure that's possible. He's like in the negatives.
He's probably got that anti-brain thing that guy had. His brain is negative mass.
Oh yeah, I just want to bomb terrorist cells. I'm not bombing anyone else.
Yeah,
What
besides
the
all
fuck?
the 1 million other people you bombed.
Yeah, besides the 60 civilians for every bomb strike, for every one terrorist killed. Yeah, good job, dude.
Anyway, so did you see that thing that happened? This is actually like recent news, and this one actually kind of pisses me off, but like sentimentally pisses me off. The lead singer of Social Distortion, Mike Ness, started going off on some rant about racism and shit in America, and then somebody started challenging him in the audience. So the people in the audience, he had like security and the fans in the audience hold this guy down, and then the singer jumped down and started punching him in the face.
No.
What a fucking pussy! You can't even even fight a guy. You have to have your little roadies hold him down. Like, what a little bitch.
That's an assault.
He has more dishonor than 8th graders when they try to square up. My god.
That's just why. What kind of?
Oh my god.
That's
No 8th grader will ever do that, I'll tell you.
Man, I initially didn't care. Like,
Racism at every turn, even when you make it up, is something important to your feelings, but no. That's unacceptable.
Remember the reason that was given for those cyclists to do their cycling tour around the world to prove that there is no evil?
Evil doesn't exist.
That evil doesn't exist? Well, apparently it exists in that band.
Yep.
yeah, the thing is that their music's actually really good, so I didn't care at first, but then I found out that like they were holding the guy down, and that like actually pissed me off a lot.
You want to punch?
And I know why they did it too, because look up a picture of Mike Ness. This dude is a twig-armed little fucking bitch. I bet I could beat his ass, and I have a BMI of 17.5.
I bet that would be fun. I mean, I believe there's a term for those kinds of people. We call them soy boys.
Oh,
We call them ultra soy boys.
I don't.
No,
think
they're
it would be-
beyond soy. They're like all the way into estrogen. They're just not even doing the soy. They're just just horking down estrogen at that point.
Their lungs are growing soy plants inside of their lungs.
Yeah.
And now
their
they're just
testicles
naturally
have been
producing.
replaced with soybeans.
They just
But
naturally
yeah,
produce
it's really-
phytoestrogens now.
It's really funny these people talk about being anti-fascist, or like they try and position themselves like they're
They can be anti-fascist when
yeah,
they stop being fascist.
fascists. Stick up for the poor and downtrodden. Well, I don't know what's punching down more than punching somebody while you have your people working for you holding their arms so they can't freaking fight back. That's
Or move.
That's
is
literally
just-
punching down.
yeah, that's not even
I can't even
I
wrap
just don't
my
even
mind
have
about
Also,
honestly.
how
Hold up,
cowardly
hold
that
up.
is.
hold up. I love it how people like to say, "Oh, Antifa is anti-fascist, so if you're against Antifa, you're a fascist." Whereas those same people will say, "No, The Nazis weren't socialist. They might have had it in their name, but they weren't socialist.
They might have collectivized the economy in the hands of the state and put a worker union, which everyone was compelled to be in charge of by the state, in charge. But no, they weren't socialist.
A socialist means whatever it is that I say it means.
Socialist means the Nards, you bigot.
Socialism. It's kind of like a repeating circle. Like they'll say, socialism is at least some state control over the means of production, or at something like that. Then that'll fail, and then they'll say, oh, but it's worker control over the means of production. That'll fail. Then they'll go back to state control, and it's just a random circle. I've seen it.
Yeah. I remember this discussion I had with someone not too long ago about the.
But
I thought the workers controlled the state, right?
I love how he is ranting about racism, and you know the reason why progressives are just so into that, because of the progressive stack. Like, so other races are down, so then he immediately turns around and starts punching somebody who can't even defend himself. Like, I love the irony of that.
What happened to those days when progressives were eugenicists?
They still are. It's just that
That's true.
Actually, that was one of my next videos. Fucker making me spoil it. But yeah, I was like, it's the video after this next video. I'm gonna make a video explaining the progressivism's eugenicist origins and how it's still eugenicist today.
The entire progressive era is just horrible. And back in the progressive era and today, it's always authoritarians and cronies. That's what it was.
Nothing ever changes. I mean, it's always remarkable to see, like, just the extent to which the way things seem to be different, the way things stay the same. I mean, they're still eugenicists, as we explained earlier.
I think it's remarkable how open the progressives were about it, yet they're trying to protect, and they were still advocating for the exact same things they advocate for today. They were just being open about their intentions like 100 years ago. Yeah. Like, there was one progressive economist, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I can give it was in an economics textbook, a progressive economics textbook. I'll give a link to it in the video. I'll cite it in the video. But he said about black people and minimum wage, we're not at the point to which we can chloroform them all once and for all.
Oh my god.
So, in order to try and keep them down and out of society, we should increase the minimum wage to discourage them from entering the market. That was literally their intention.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody here is familiar with Margaret Sanger and the fact that she founded Planned Parenthood to be basically a genocide farm. She was actually a genocidal maniac, and for some reason that there are progressives who will fight tooth and nail to defend her honor, even though if she could see like the extent to which, like, I think like 60 million black people have been killed by Planned Parenthood since inception. If she were alive today, she would have tears rolling down her eyes in joy at just the amount of death and murder she could revel in. These are not good people. Do not make this this is probably the biggest fallacy I see a lot of people make. Do not assume
and
these
the thing
are
is
good people.
That in
They do
many
not have good
ways
intentions.
progressivism still has a supremacist view of certain groups. For example, I just mentioned earlier the progressive stack. On the progressive stack, that sort of implies that there are a hierarchy of identities like that. That just and if you ask them about free association, you tell them why certain groups can't be allowed to freely associate. Like you saw this in the debate between Sargon of Akkad and Thomas Smith at Mythicist Milwaukee 2017. They will literally straight up tell you, if we let these groups compete in free association, white people will just dominate all the markets. We'll just dominate everything. Yeah, that's literally what he told Sargon.
Yep.
So these people are,
I thought that race realists were evil.
yeah, these are just supremacists, except they're trying to disguise their beliefs. They believe the same thing they believed 100 years ago, except they're advertising what they want differently. But it's working towards the same goals, of course.
Those weren't true eugenics.
I can't wait until they start doing that. Well, that's not true eugenicism.
Well, they kind
It's
of
not
are.
true eugenicism.
They kind of are, and how apologetic they are for progressive politics. I mean, I just remember myself going through school, how we were taught that the progressive era was just this glowing time of great reform and brave ideas, really sticking it to the man.
And everything before was just a bunch of monopolies, just forcing children to work in coal mines for 0.1 pennies a year. Like, that's literally what happened. That is undeniable, and if you deny it, then you're just a coke shell.
All right,
It happened during FDR.
Yeah.
That narrative is hilarious because Herbert Hoover and FDR had the exact same economic policies. Yet they say Herbert Hoover was terrible, and they say FDR was this great reformer, and everything was great under him.
You can actually look at some of FDR's speeches during his presidential campaign against Hoover. The guy talked like a free market, laissez-faire guy. In fact, if you read the speeches, you would have thought that he was an ANCAP. So the guy, like, clearly, well, he not only lied to his audience, as all want to be authoritarians or want to do, but yeah.
Well, there's a quote over somebody whose entire life defies every narrative that statists have. His mere existence defies every statist narrative that exists. He has a quote about that. Those who are capable of tyranny are capable of perjury to sustain it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That is the definition of true.
Was I right?
States don't just fucking...
Well, there's a reason that you
exist
don't hear
without-
about him in textbooks. I'm talking about Spooner, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the
Right.
way, Smartness Cafe, do not. You do not.
Do not what?
If he's asking if he can spam the chat with Asian
Just
girls,
spam Asian
No.
girls.
do not do this. Alright, that is
But-
all.
but-
Continue.
No Asian girls.
But-
Unless they're ANCAP. Then unless they're ANCAP or that one philosopher.
But no,
Twitter account.
freaking the statists say, well, the government can provide services to everybody much cheaper. Spooner opens competition with the post office. He provides at like a half off price. He provides his service half off what the government was charging it for, and more people had access to mail because of him.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just and then of course there's part 6 of No Treason, the Constitution of No Authority, which just, if everybody read that, I think there wouldn't be any statists in the world.
No, I don't think there would.
Also,
It's a 1 hour long audio book. There's no excuse.
It's pretty it's pretty basic stuff once you understand like the more complex topics of libertarian philosophy and anarchism. But I just, if you have any questions about like the social contract myth, or just, that would probably be a good book to read.
Accounts neither for secession nor conquest.
Yeah, well, that'd just be a good book to read for like the basics. Not just like, is the state better, or would we be better off under a state? No, his point is just that it's impossible. It is not possible for a state to actually justify itself.
Also, speaking of states being cost inefficient, even when you look at the evil things the state does, like war, whenever the United States hires mercenaries to do their bullshit, those mercenaries, like, say, Blackwater and the like, are almost always cheaper and more effective. So even the evil stuff the state does, it can't do right. Isn't that amazing?
No, not really. When
A
you
private
realize
company does it better.
it's not really that surprising when you realize that the state has no incentive to do anything right at all.
And I love
ever.
when people point to Blackwater as an example of private security or private militias not working. Well,
Motherfucker, their main customer is the state!
yeah, you realize that the only reason they were even doing that, like they were able to go over there and do that, is because the state was subsidizing them and covering for them, right?
More like, I'm paying them to do so
It's the
directly.
microcosm fallacy. Completely
Yeah.
at work there, but it turned over on itself.
Pretty much. Like, it's not even the microcosm fallacy. It's just it's not even a good example. It's an example of
It's
statism
not
in
an
action.
argument.
Right,
Yeah,
it's the microcosm
that's-
fallacy, but turned in on itself.
I don't want to call it SO's law, but yeah, that's what we should call it, something law. Every time a statist makes an argument against anarchism, there's a 90% chance that it's going to be an argument against statism.
I can't think of
Oh,
a
I-
single.
I have
think I'm
a-
sure it's not 100%. I can't think of a single example of a. Well, what about the X that doesn't resolve? It's like, well,
Hinder
the
and
state
Kapistan, the rich will rule because they have money, and this is definitely
Yeah, that's
not
actually
the
a
case
good
today.
point. I was kind of thinking like some of their arguments, like
What if we had
just the absolute fucking potato arguments, like when I called Tom Hartman and he tried to tell me, well, you need a government to have money.
Derp.
You realize money
remember
existed
that.
before governments, right? So do black markets.
I've had discussions with people about
Bitcoin.
I have discussions with people about private military because I did that video, and
I don't-
someone and like the situations that people come up with to try to justify a state, it eventually escalates to the point of, what if you have 1 billion nukes falling on the United States right now? How's a free society gonna stop that? It's like, what's a state gonna do to stop that?
I know.
Exactly.
Because they try to argue for, they shift the burden of proof because they'll say something wrong about your ideology, then you'll answer it, then they'll say that's wrong, right? That doesn't work. So then you ask, well, how does the state stop that? So then they don't give an answer. They want to shift it back to you. Well, how does an anarchy solve that? It's like the burden of proof is on you right now. You're the one trying to prove the negative. You have the positive argument right now.
Pretty much. Well, what about 1 billion nukes, though?
1 billion nukes.
6
You know
trillion
how
nukes.
Billion.
You know how there aren't even 1 billion nukes in the world.
I know, but the whole
There's not
point-
even like 100,000, I don't think. Yeah, it's because do you know how fucking expensive it is to build a warhead? Well, first of all, you need uranium-235 or 238 and a pretty potent dose of it, which is extremely expensive because uranium-235 and 238 have been sort of phased out of the market for decades because they're inefficient. And pretty much their only utility is to be used to be weaponized, and it's incredibly rare. That specific isotope's incredibly rare. So even without the state, there would be that would still be incredibly expensive, and
Yeah.
innovation wouldn't help that.
But I mean, you gotta point out the. I definitely love the magical thinking that goes on involved with statism, because this is my point that like statism is a religion. That all you have to do is just to stop the billion nukes. Is just to make nukes illegal, and that'll just make them disappear forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for
No.
guns, didn't it?
Well, that's the thing is they think that illegal equals they disappear, when no, that just means that the government is monopolizing who can own them into their own hands. They're making it so
I
they're
don't
the
know
only ones
how
who can own
people
them.
think that government is just this magical organization that can change the laws of physics based on how they write their laws. Like, a man kills another man discreetly in the woods. How's an anarchy gonna solve that? Well, I don't know. How's a state gonna solve that either?
Yeah.
No one saw it.
It's like, yeah, no one.
It
That's,
happened.
It's like no one may solve that. It's discreet in the woods. Who's gonna know that?
Exactly.
It's magical. It's the magical state that knows everything and sees all.
How
But
would
they
an
can't
anarchy
always
solve
find you.
insert literally impossible situation here?
What about
How would it solve every other planet in the solar system collapsing on the Earth?
How would an anarchy
We'd
solve
already be moved. There you
How
go.
would an anarchy solve the fact that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5?
I don't know. I think we just had to. I think we just had to ban the number 4. I don't understand why we don't just appoint sorcerers to be like our politicians.
Well, you just want chaos. You just want chaos, you know that?
Is that what your parents say?
No, yeah, just not in the voice.
Ah.
Some others say it in that voice though.
Hmm.
When I go to family reunions, my parents will say, "Oh, my son's an anarchist." And we'll be like, you know, anarchy equals chaos, you know that." Then I have to sit there for 20 minutes explaining to them, and they'll be like, "Anarchy is chaos. You're wrong." And that's when I feel
like
the uncollapsible need to die.
Sounds like you'd have a more productive time talking about it with one of those girls at your school who wears the cat hoods.
You know, the sad thing is that you're right about that.
I've actually had a lot of success when you never introduce your ideas as anarchism. You get them to arrive at the conclusion that what you're talking about is anarchism. So you just talk about how things like that, these things that taxes, or that these things should not be taxed, and that everything should not be taxed.
Whatever this is unconstitutional.
But who would build the roads, huh?
That appeals to a lot of American conservatives and the like.
Healthcare, huh?
Well,
But who would stop the school shootings, huh? But who would run the world, huh?
Well, I mean, technically, by the First Amendment, by an incredibly strict interpretation of the First Amendment, the government is unconstitutional. Because
that is very true.
The freedom of association also implies the freedom to not associate. Otherwise, you could interpret the freedom of speech to only include speech and not being prevented from speaking. So the freedom to speech means the freedom to not speak.
But have you seen Mad Max, kid? You seen Mad Max yet?
Oh, yes. And of course, government is forced.
That's what would happen.
And of course, government
happen
is
without government.
And of course, this means
people are evil. That's why we put people in.
Please stop interrupting me.
My God.
That's what they do to me. I'm simply letting you in on how my life has been for a long time.
Well, that's how my life is all the time. That's not even when I'm talking politics.
But don't you know what Mad Max is?
If there was no state, who would lynch the niggers?
Oh, yes, that stream shut down.
Without government, who would starve babies to death?
Without government, who would stop Mundane Matt from existing?
Without government, who would put up the spikes to stop homeless people from sleeping under underpasses?
Yes.
Without government, who would stop dominoes from filling in the potholes?
Without government.
Oh wait.
I don't know if the government's actually stopped them. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was telling you about that yesterday, Filthy. That I don't know if you guys have laws like this around where you live, but the government just doesn't fill in cracks in the roads around here, or at least they don't care very much. So instead of actually building the roads like statists claim they do, what they do is every time the weeds in between the cracks in the roads get long enough, they'll give us a letter in the mail telling us to go do it, and if they don't, we'll get a fine. So literal forced labor.
That's
the statist solution.
Without the government, who would enslave people?
Oh wait.
Without the government, who would stop Smartness Cafe from posting Asian pictures?
Without the government, and Asia's saying this, without government, who will subsidize Planned Parenthood?
Without the government, who would fucking kill all those anime accounts on Twitter?
Oh my God. Without government, who would bomb the sand people?
Without government, who would hate sand?
Alright, but yeah. we are way way off topic right now.
Yeah, kind of.
So,
Also, we are an hour in, so we should probably wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah.
But don't you know that people are evil?
Oh
That's
yeah,
why we put them in the government.
obviously.
Problem solved.
Mike Ness is a noodle-armed little fucking soy boy bitch. Mundane Matt
is also a
Mundane
soy
Matt's
boy
the same-
bitch.
Mundane Matt's the same thing except like 100 pounds fatter. Don't go riding your bike in Tajikistan, even though most people probably can't even point to where that is on a map. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is our idiot.
Yay! Is that going to be a thing now? We have to figure out who our idiot of the week is.
Yeah,
Idiot.
our idiot, but in between
And one
slashes
last
like on
thing.
4chan. In between slashes like on 4chan, she's our idiot.
Excellent.
And one last thing, I curse Google for cursing me with this icon.
As if we needed a reason to curse Google.
What?
do though.
I guess we needed a reason to curse
Because
Google.
without government,
Yeah.
it would stop Google from censorship.
But that's just your average curse. I'm talking about a red curse.
Without
Oh.
the government, who would stop the government from subsidizing these social media companies?
Oh.
I can just imagine. I don't know. That would fit perfectly with the, you know that meme of the guy in the pool who's pouring water on himself. Someone needs to make that meme. You know, it's like, the government is the guy. It's like government, social media subsidies.
Yeah, let's do that. Post that in my server later.
Yeah,
Okay,
also
I'll
just
find
one other thing. Someone's been trying to get me to look at my Discord, and what's been posted is that Sargon has made a video. Haven't watched it yet, but it's like a quick 5.5 minute video about why we need regulation in social media. Yay!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Alright.
geez.
All right,
That's
I'll
our
take
response material.
I think
Yeah, we could fuck, we should start like responding to videos in streams after this. Like that one stream that I had on my channel back, like my first channel that everybody loved. We should start doing that too.
What
Every
was that
once in a
stream? What
while.
was it?
Yes.
I was just playing a bunch of random videos. Like we played that one Jason Unruh response to
Oh, yeah.
my response to the falling rate of profit, and that one video that Comrade Squirrely made. I don't even the stuff he said in that was just so dumb. I forgot what he even said, but
He said very interesting, but
I was
hot as the sun
mostly-
takes, such as workers are market slaves. Corporatism is simply when society is organized. Proving my point.
so what does he want a society which is disorganized? Also, that's not what communism is.
I'm
Communism's like the opposite.
I'm confused on so
also-
many levels.
But without government, who would bomb the children? Who would
Without-
stop overpopulation?
Without government, who would run MK Ultra?
Also, I should probably record.
Without government,
something.
who would kill those Mortal Kombat X channels?
Without government, who would run the CIA?
You know what? There's a video I'm gonna post in the chat. It's Mortal Kombat. It's like one of the mods that they do. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Without the government, who would have created Terry A. Davis?
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up though. We're running a bit long.
All right,
Without
Let's-
government, who would set the town of Waco on fire?
all right. Well, that's actually a good one. But yeah, we should wrap this up here.
All right, so
One sec, I just need to find
everybody
this.
just
Bless
block
the
their channels.
slaves down in Africa.
I gotta find this. Is the scariest thing you've ever seen. Oh my god, I found it.
All right,
It's
so
horrifying. The first clip is just terrifying.
post it as a comment to the stream because yeah, we gotta wrap
Yeah.
this up. So everybody,
Yeah, I'm about done.
Right, I'll just put it in the live chat.
Okay,
Don't worry, it won't take me long.
okay. Well,
Alright, well, it was good talking with you, gentlemen.
yes, we're gonna do this again next week. Probably, no, not Sunday. I think we'll just make this a Monday thing
Can we
something
do this
someone-
Friday?
Might not be on
We
next
should do this like
Monday.
twice a week. We should do this Mondays and Fridays.
I
I'm
can't
sure they can
add
be
Hey,
arranged,
I'm
weapons.
probably
actually.
not going to be on every single time, though. Just
Yeah, some of
putting
us
that
aren't
out.
gonna be on, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, everybody.
Atomic ANCAP, Filthy Heretic, Hoplu, and the insane clown posse of ANCAPs myself.
And other people, too.
You are a
That's
one.
me.
You are a
Bye.
one-man posse. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I meant that because it's like everybody fucking has an unwarranted hatred for me.
I don't know what it is about you, but your fuzzy face inspires raging hate boners in certain people, and I don't understand why.
It
I don't like
does.
the way your eyes are drawn. They're too orange.
They don't like that you got them in the vor.
Did I actually get people into that? I
Hey,
saw I saw a comment from Journey under one of the videos saying that I got that he's like, you know what, I'm into that too. So I think I actually did.
For what it's worth, Journey, I am so sorry.
Oh shit! Oh my god, this is great.
All right, so yeah. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah, we should stream on Friday. This should be this is the kind of fun that needs to happen twice a week.
Oh yeah, I
I'll
concur.
be on if I have nothing better to do and if my icon changed.
Yay!
Yes, it should only be the four of us, no one else.
No one else. No one else is allowed. We should have a constitution and a social contract written out to make sure that no one else is ever allowed here ever again.
No.
Yes. Do it, it's irony.
Oh, fuck, I just found Hold up, before we end, I just found the most autistic fucking thing ever. Hold up, where is it?
I'll trade with Hoplu and create a counter economy to overthrow your social contract.
No, you won't, because the government can just regulate the black market. That's actually what I've heard people say before. Just regulate the black market, guys. No.
No, because it's inherently decentralized.
I refuse to regulate the black market. That's racist.
What about the red market? The red
Dude,
skin,
fucking-
That's also racist.
North Korea, the closest thing the world has ever seen to a 1984 style Orwellian dictatorship, has black markets. Don't tell me you can
No.
regulate black markets
We're
out
calling
of
them
existence.
they're African American markets.
The black market's the only thing.
They have a proud African the markets have a proud African heritage, and you need to respect that.
All right. Well, I'm
All
gonna
right,
go.
goodbye,
See ya.
everyone.
All right.
See you later.
See ya.